Hello, welcome to Vinyl Grandad, Ep.3 of Thoughts and Feelings. I'm going through my favourite albums, my record collection, the stories behind them, the way they shaped my life. That's what we're doing. And we're continuing to roll on with another album. Today we've got Salad Days by Demarco. This makes me laugh every time I look at it. Why is that? Because it reminds me of when I and 90% of people I knew wanted to be Mac DeMarco. Do you remember when that happened? Do you remember back in about 2016 where everybody between the ages of 13 and 21, it could even range higher than that, wanted to be Mac DeMarco? Because ever since that moment, ever since that period in time, I don't think I've ever seen anyone pull off skinny jeans. I genuinely don't. The baggy, and I couldn't find the struggle to find a good pair of baggy trousers on me when I was 18, or 16 to 18, was just a nightmare, and I look shit. I've got a couple really good stories for this one, to be fair. But first of all, we'll just quickly run through the cover. So it's an iconic photo. It's nothing crazy, but because of the music, because of the time, it's just such a memorable cover, and it's just Mac there. On the back, we've got him and his lovely guitar, and then in the middle, we've just got the studio, the rough, independent looking studio that he made all the great records in. And then it's just a regular black vinyl, so I'm not going to get that out. But on the sleeve, it's the lyrics on the back, and then we got him with the flowers there. But anyway, what did this sound like? It was these jangly, I guess, guitars, if you want to describe them that way. And it was him being pretty chill, being a lover boy, being quite emotional, but in sort of this sort of I don't know. I don't know. I'm not great at describing the technicalities of the music. I'm here for the stories. I'm here for the feelings, how it shaped my life. So let's just scrap that. Let's just get to the good bits. So when I first heard about Mac DeMarco, my mate was like, "Have you heard about Mac DeMarco?" I said no, which I was surprised about. I was up on my music. He said you need to listen to him. So I go on YouTube. I type in Salad Days full album. I put it on, and then I went to try and buy a hat that looked like this about 20 minutes later because I thought it was the best thing I'd ever heard. He was now my favourite person ever, my favourite artist of all time. And I feel like a lot of people relate to that, as I've just said. Because I liked him so much, we bought tickets to go see him in London. This was at his height. And now, exciting news, at this show, I got the chance to meet Mac DeMarco. And not in a meet and greet setting, in just a regular, random setting. Let's go for it. It's a bit of a traumatic. It's not a traumatic memory for me. I laugh about it now, but here we go. So we're going past the venue. It's Coco in London. Weird. Left school, got the train. Off we go. And in the smoking area at the back of this venue, we're going off to a park to start drinking. We see Mac DeMarco, and everyone, including myself, was dying inside because this man is God. Right now, we're looking at Jesus reborn. He was turning Marlborough Golds into wine, for all we knew. And we approached him. We didn't have the balls at the first, but then it might have even been me. Don't want to take the credit if it wasn't, but I feel like it was me. That was like, fuck it, let's go over and talk to him. So we were saying, hey, general chit chat, and this is where I started talking and fucking the whole situation up. Apparently, I said, oh hey, Mac, it's cool. You're getting pretty big now. And as soon as I said that, he looked at me and he just goes, what do you mean by that? So I said, well, I just saw you doing Glastonbury and, your numbers are up. You're doing well, it looks like. I was trying to be nice. And he said, oh, I don't really like to look at it like that. And I was like, oh, well, this is really fucked and I've fucked this up and it's just awkward now. And then we had like one conversation about something else just to filter it out. Forget that the other conversation happened, and he was like, look, it's really nice to meet you. I've got to get back to what I'm doing. I'll see you later. And I don't want to give off the impression that he was being a dick, because he wasn't. The worst part was, I was dressed exactly like him. And, I was just a clone going up to him. He probably didn't appreciate it. He's the sort of humble, independent artist. At least he's trying to give off that vibe at this time. And I'm up there like, you're looking really big, mate. You're a big artist. And he was probably like, fuck off. So that's probably how that went. And after we left, all my mates were like, well, only you could completely ruin your chance to meet Matt Demarco. And I didn't think I had. I thought it was quite a funny memory. Um, and at the end of the day, I thought he was a really nice guy. So that was that. That was quite funny. The show was unbelievable. His shows back then were crazy because he'd play a song like Let My Baby Stay, right? And he'd just, Let my baby stay. But then there's mosh pits everywhere. Like, it's like some metal show. And it's like, it was crazy. Let alone the actual upbeat songs, like freaking out the neighborhood. And then he's jumping off shit, and it's just like, wow, this guy's a rock star, and I love him, and he's fucking crazy. And when you're that age, and you don't give a shit about anything, there's nothing better than a guy that makes good music that also doesn't give a shit about anything, at least it seems, on the outside, when he's really drunk at a show. And he's an amazing performer, amazing personality, just great all-round artist. And yeah, I guess, there were signs of him looking, analysing his own life and going deep into situations and his own feelings, but he has matured a lot in his other records. This was, still premature in the sense of his lyrics and the topics, I guess. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of that stuff, but why he captured everyone? It's an interesting question. I wasn't even going to go through that, but I've just sort of thought of it now. Why was it so captivating? Why did it create this whole culture? Why is now Mac DeMarco filtered into almost every part of rock you can imagine? In a sense, if you know what I mean. Like any DIY artist basically just sounds like Mac DeMarco. And this isn't like a new revelation. Loads of content creators have spoken about it before. It's just a conversation in general. But he did just flood. He just flooded the market in like rock, if that's, I guess, where we're going with it. I don't know. He was just fucking cool. And I wouldn't even want to look into it any further than that because it would just be wasting my time. And I need to move away from that. But here's a little bit of advice. I tried everything in every way I could to be Mac DeMarco. The music I was making at the time sounded like Mac DeMarco. The clothes I was wearing, I looked like this, but a lot worse. And guess what, guys? It didn't work. I didn't become any cooler. I didn't gain any sort of notoriety. My music didn't go anywhere because I was trying to be someone else. If you are between the ages of 13 and 18, it can go on longer than this, obviously, and you're trying to find yourself, and you've got your favourite artist, say you love Travis Scott, don't dress exactly like Travis Scott. Try and find yourself. Let them inspire you to be yourself, not to be just like them or a clone of them. And because of social media, it's all getting crammed into this one world where everybody's sort of on the same thing, which is cool in a way, but it is just ruining a bit of individuality in a sense. And obviously, everyone goes through phases. Everyone has this time where they're trying to be like the person they look up to. But just try and cut it out as early as possible, because it doesn't get you anywhere. Because either what's going to happen is, you're going to get the instant notoriety, and it's going to be great, because everyone's like, yeah, he's really cool, because he looks like that person. What's going to happen then is either you're going to realise that this isn't you, and you're going to have a breakdown, and then you're going to change it, or you're not going to realise, and everybody else is, and they're going to be like, he's just acting, he's not himself. I might just be chatting shit, but I feel like I'm onto something. I feel like this is some truth that I'm trying to tell. I'm just trying to breed a bit of positivity out of a record, which, if you listen to it, will also give you a lot of positive vibes. It's lovely. And I could go track by track, list all that shit, but it's more about the stories. Talking of a story, on the topic of what I've just been talking about, there was one time that I went to meet a girl. Me and my mate, we went on sort of this double date. And I was trying to dress like Mac DeMarco at the time. And I thought I looked great, but I still felt uncomfortable in my skin. Subconsciously. Now I look back, I'm like, yeah, I wasn't confident. But at the time I was like, yeah, I look like Mac DeMarco. So we're sitting in this field, right, on a bench, and this guy comes over that I sort of briefly know. And he sees me and my mate with these two other girls, and he goes, I am going to edit out my name there. Um, Definitely going to edit out my name there, so that might be muted. He said, blah blah blah, come over here, come over here. And instead of saying, oh hi, how you doing, mate? The first thing he said to me was, what the fuck are you wearing? And I was like, I don't know, it's just sort of my vibe at the moment. He said, you look like my granddad, which is pretty ironic right now, isn't it? But that hit me, and that's when I realised that this girl wasn't going to be mine. The situation wasn't going to go well, and I wasn't being myself. And this was an illuminating moment in my brain where I knew that I had to stop trying to be Mac Demarco. And everyone else needed to as well. We needed to move on. Because no one can be... He's living his own lifestyle. He is himself. You can't emulate that. And look, don't get me wrong. Some people can. Some people rock the same vibe. But it's just not worth it. You get the point I'm trying to get. And I've barely spoken about the music, but I feel like this has still been a good conversation sort of surrounding the culture and the music of Mac DeMarco. So I'm just going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed it, and maybe we can have a further discussion more specifically on the music one day, but not today. Peace.